Unfortunately, the khadi has become a politician's dress, right? So you have to give an explanation why I am wearing khadi. Okay, so that is the state of the country today. So I've been given a very difficult task, to talk after Sri Ram Iyer, and also to talk, before Kurumurthy, right? So I'm getting sandwiched between the two speakers, and I'll try to do my best. Nearly 20 years ago, one lady came to Sevalaya. She brought a 7-year-old boy with her. Just looking at the lady, we could understand that she has a very, very, very poor background. Her sari was torn and it was all dirty everywhere, and the child was almost crying. So the scene was very pathetic. And then when this lady came to us, she said she lost her husband just a week ago. And the main breadwinner for the family is gone. 3 sons are there. She has to take care of all these 3 sons. And she's the one who is selling peanuts on the Tirunelveli railway station. So both her and her husband were carrying a peanut basket, and then they were jumping from train to train and selling peanuts. So that kind of family. So now the husband is gone and 3 sons are there. She has to take care, and she says it's going to be very difficult for me. She said the first 2 sons, they're not so good in studies, and they're not keen in going to school. So probably she can put them into some small business. Maybe they can join her own business or do something else, start earning. But he said, with this last boy, he's really studious. He is bright, brilliant. So I don't want him to lose a chance. So I was inquiring with some people, and they said if you go to Sevalaya, probably there is a chance that they can take this boy into their hostel and the school, and you can get a free education. So that's why I'm here. This is what her story she was telling me. So we got all the details from her, and then I told her to come on the following day, because we have a process of going back and checking whether things are right or wrong. So next morning, I sent a staff member to her place to check what she is saying, what she has said. And then we got a confirmation that everything is right. Whatever information she gave is all true. So next evening when she came again, we had no hesitation. We took this boy in. He was just 7-year-old at that time. He was studying in some other school, and then we had to transfer him to our school. And he stayed in our hostel. His name is Ilayaraja. He was good in singing. He was taking part in various activities, like the quiz or any other competition, whichever comes up. So he used to volunteer to go for it immediately. And we used to get a lot of volunteers from various IT companies. So he used to move with them, try to understand what they do, how they work in their companies, what is their product, how do they sell, what is marketing, what is production. So he used to ask a lot of questions with all the volunteers who come from various colleges, various organizations. And we also arranged trips for our children to go to many universities and also to some of the corporations. So he was there in all the groups. So he was going and then learning. Her mother was right. His mother was right. This guy is really brilliant. He scored very well in the 10th and 12th grade. So we supported him in the higher education also. Today, he's a software engineer. He's working in Tata Consultancy. So this is the story of one boy, Ilayaraja. Last 2-3 years he has been working. He has gone abroad. He's supporting customers all over the world. So he goes to US, he goes to Europe. More than all that, every weekend he comes to Sevalaya. Right? He wants to give back to where he grew up. So he is there all weekends. He is a standing example for all the other children that it is possible. If people put in the effort, they can come up in life. So there's a live example for other children. So there is another case, one Srinivasan. His mother is a payment dollar in Tiruvattriyur. She also lost her husband, and there is the only child. That child at the age of 2 was attacked, it's a polio attack. And then one leg is, he can walk only crooked, he can't walk straight. So that's the child she has, the only child. And no, he has no house, nothing. She has to be on the platform. Again, when this boy was around 5-year-old, there's one of the other NGOs who knows us. They work for the street children. So this boy landed up in their group, and then they directed this child to Sevalaya. So when he was 5-year-old, he came into Sevalaya, and he studied in our institution, and then later grew up, and he went to college. So now he is working in a BPO company. Just this year he finished. This June he completed his studies, and he has got a job, and he has gone into his job. And first time in her life, her mother has gone into a house. She was always on platform all the time. And this boy, after taking a job, he has taken a house now in Ambattur, and he has got his mother into the house. So the mother is staying in the house and staying with him. There's another girl, Chitra. Again, her mother deserted by her husband with 3 daughters. So Chitra is the eldest of the 3 daughters. So suddenly she finds that husband has deserted her, and the 3 daughters she has to take care. And with these 3 daughters, she came to Sevalaya. And we took all the 3 daughters into our orphanage and also into our school. And Chitra, 2 years ago, she stood first in our school in the +2 exam. She got 1,100 out of 1,200. She got selected in the Anna University. So she is in the Anna University campus now in the hostel. She is doing her biotechnology. She finished first year and she is into second year now. So there are various examples like this, where there are children on the street who lost parents, some of the children who don't even know their parentage, and some children who have single parents. Some children may have both the parents but financially orphan. They have no money to support. These kind of children land up in Sevalaya. And how do these children get into Sevalaya, and how do they get educated, how do they come up? Is because of all the sharing what is happening in the society. Right? Today we have been talking about sharing, right from morning we have been hearing about sharing. All the sharing what other people do, from whatever they have, they want to share with such poor children. So that is why this is happening. It's not that you have to be a big film star or a big industrialist to do any kind of sharing. Very, very common people, they come to Sevalaya to do sharing. One example I can say is one of the auto drivers in Chennai. So he had his son's first birthday. And they had a discussion in their house. His wife and his mother, they were insisting that as per their family tradition, they have to go to Tirupati. They have to go to Tirupati and have their head shaved for the boy. So that's how they have to have the first birthday celebrated. And then they worked out the cost. Some 5-6 people have to go from Chennai to Tirupati, probably stay one night there, have this religious ceremony and come back. They worked out, at the minimum, it is costing 2,500 rupees. So he is just an auto driver. He may be earning 50 rupees, 100 rupees maximum as the profit at the end of the day. So he said, do we have to spend this money like this? And he said, once I remember that I have taken a family to Sevalaya, and they were celebrating their son's birthday, providing lunch for the Sevalaya kids. So it exactly cost the same amount, 2,500 rupees. If we pay 150 children can have a delicious lunch, we can go and sit with them, have the lunch with them. So probably we can go to a temple nearby, have a simple function, and then save on the transport cost, whatever cost we have to incur on going to Tirupati and coming back, and that money we can give it in Sevalaya, and then we can go there, have food with the children. So these kind of people, a lot of people come to Sevalaya, and this is the kind of sharing what we have been experiencing in the last 22 years. That 99% of the people are all individual donors for Sevalaya. We have very, very little corporate donors. These kind of people, they come in, donate, and then with that support, we are able to get all these children into education. We are running a school where there are 1,300 children, like the examples I gave you. These are the kind of children who study there. We don't charge any fees. It's a completely free school. We provide them uniforms, books, notebooks, everything. We don't get any government grant. Out of these 1,300 children, there are 150 who are homeless children who stay on the campus. We also have an old age home. There are 60 people in the old age home, the destitute old people. So again, it's also a free, we don't charge anything for the old age home also. We have a medical center, there's a library, there's a goshala. It's different from dairy farming. We are not doing dairy farming, we are doing goshala. So majority of the cows are dry cows. So it's a kind of service what we want to do to the animals, and we want to teach these values to our children when they grow up in the school. We want to teach them that they have to support old people, they have to support animals. So these kind of values we want to teach them when they are there on the campus. So how did I get into this? How did I get these ideas? I just want to give you some background. When I was 11-year-old, when I was a student, just doing 7th standard, I had a friend. His name is Ratnam. So he used to live next in the next street. So I used to go every evening. Either I will go to his house or he will come to my house. So we used to be playing. My friend's father was a writer. He used to write short stories. He was not popular at all. Whatever he wrote came back to him. It never got published. But he used to have a lot of books in his house. So one day when I went to his house, there was one book which really attracted my attention because of on the cover, the picture of Bharatiyar was there. So it was the poetry of Bharatiyar Kavidegal. That book was there. So I asked my friend's father, so can I take this book? I want to read this book because there's some attraction in the cover, so I want to go and look at what is there inside. And then he said, a lot of people borrow books and nothing comes back. Right? So I lost a lot of books. So don't ask me. I'm not going to give the book. So a lot of negotiations with him. Finally, we agreed that I will keep it only for one day. So within 24 hours, I have to come back and return the book. So on that condition, I took the book from him and then came home. The next day was a school holiday. So I thought it's a holiday, so I can read, very easily I can read the book. That was the impression I had initially. But there are two problems. One is the holiday was because of Saraswati Puja. That's why the school was closed on the following day. And I had a grandpa at my home, who's a very, very religious person. So the puja has to be done very properly. We normally say Saraswati Puja, you cannot read, right? You should not read. It's because all your books will be there in puja. There will be nothing available for you to read. So that is the reason we say we cannot read on Saraswati Puja day. So he said, give all the books. Whatever books you have, bring everything. It has to be kept for puja. Then I thought, if I give it, it's going to come back one day later only, from the puja. 24 hours will be over. I have to just go and return the book without reading it. I just hid this book from my grandfather and gave him all the other books, all the school books. I gave it to him. So let it go to Saraswati, right? So this one book I can keep and I can read this. And later when I started reading it, I saw it's all more than 400 pages, all poetry. So at the age of 11, it's impossible for somebody to read 400 pages of poetry and understand in one day. It's not going to happen. Then I decided probably I will not do it cover to cover. I'll just open. Whatever page comes, I'll just open, and then whatever is there, probably read that. Just opened, and then it was starting from the middle of a poetry. The previous page, the poetry had already started, and I opened from the left-hand top corner, the middle of the poem started, and it was almost describing what my grandfather is doing. So my grandfather has put a Saraswati's photo, and he has kept all the books. So he is putting the flowers and kumkum and whatever. So puja is going on, and Bharati is describing all that. Mandirattai munumunuthu, yettai varisiyaga adukki, chandanattai madarayiduvar, sathiram ival poosanai andram. So it says this is not puja. This is not the Saraswati puja. And then there is a confusion. Who is right? My grandfather is right or my Bharatiyar is right? So what is this? He is doing something and then there is a description which says this is all wrong. This is not a puja. Then we know Bharatiyar is not from the group which says there is no God. Right? He is a person who has written so much about so many gods. And then if he says that something is not a puja, then there must be something else. He must be giving some other alternative. So I continue to read that poem. Then it says, the real puja is to go and find out a village where there is no school. And of course, in his own words, he says, burn that village. Burn that village down. That is Saraswati Puja. So this is how Bharati talks. But we have to understand it very clearly. What he says is we should not have any village like that. If there is a village without a school, you go and start a school there. And then do it for the poor people, do it free. So if you do that, then that is Saraswati Puja. So this idea came into my mind when I read this one and said, when I grew up, so I will do this Saraswati Puja, what Bharati has asked me to do. So that's why today we call Sevalaya school as Mahakavi Bharatiyar school. And it's not just one poor child, that's what Bharati says. So even educating one poor child is much more holier than constructing 1,000 temples. So this is 1,300 children now. some of the examples I told you initially, so they're all well settled. We say that our country is very, very poor country. We say 50% of India is poor, half of the country is poor. We say half the children don't go to proper schools, don't get proper education. So this is a big problem. It's a huge country, so much population, and we say half the country is poor, half the children don't go to school, half the children don't get access to quality education. So big mass of crowds. How to solve this problem? If you look at it differently, we say half the country is poor, that means half the country is well off. 50% of children are not going to good schools, not getting good education, the other 50 is getting it. So the solution is very simple. That each one in this room, if we decide that each one will support one child, right, this 50% is able to support the other 50%, then the problem will be solved. I think this is the topic of today, of how to share. Right? Thank you.